Alright, what's going on? I'm doing another episode here. This is gonna be I have a little bit more than that. 20 minutes to do this? I have 20 minutes to do this right now. So if you hear it cut out, if I'm not done, then that's probably why. I have a lot to talk about today, actually, with this. So, yeah, we're gonna go through a couple. We're gonna go through the three big sports. We're gonna talk about some NFL news first. Then we're gonna go through, if you're waiting for, finally gonna start talking some MLB, stuff like that, which I'm looking forward to. Love talking MLB. And then we're going to finish off with some NBA stuff because NBA season's wrapping up and a lot of news coming out. So, coming out with playoff races and stuff like that. So, and awards, which we'll talk about the awards a little bit before, they start getting announced. And I'll give my predictions. I might do that in another episode, but I think next episode will be just squarely like because the playoffs are gonna be finished today, or the standings are gonna be finished today because the game's finished on Wednesday. I'm recording this on Wednesday, so I'll do on Friday. I'll look into it before all the games get started on Saturday, and then we'll be all set. So to get it started, since the last time I did one of these, Tony Romo announced that he was retiring. I haven't recorded since then because I've just been really, really busy and haven't had a chance to do it. But I want to try to stay persistent with this. And I'll be home this weekend for Easter, obviously, so I'll have plenty of time to do it, whether it's at my dad's house or my mom's house. So I'll have time to record this. I'm thinking about changing this thing up a little bit because obviously I don't, like, you guys obviously can't tell what I look like, but I've been thinking about switching it to a webcam because, I don't know, one of my friends is kind of doing that kind of thing right now, and she's kind of inspiring me to do that, so maybe I'll pick that up a little bit. By the way, if my friend is watching this, I'm not going to give you a shout out. Like, I refuse to give you a shout out until I get one on one of your videos. Because I still haven't gotten one yet, or haven't gotten in any of yours yet, so, yeah. Just a little thing. Yeah, I'm not giving you a shout out. I'll give you a shout out as soon as the second you, put me in one of yours. And for everybody else, it's an inside joke, don't worry. You'll catch on eventually. Let's go. Okay, so since I did the last one, Tony Romo is now retired. He's gonna be working with the CBS crew. I believe, I'll have to look this up right now. I believe he's replacing Jim Nantz on the CBS thing. I'm not exactly sure. I'll have to look it up. But I know he's working for CBS, and he just got honored by the Dallas Mavericks last night, which was hilarious. If you guys haven't seen like everything, like he was in shoot around, he was doing practice, and then he was part of the introductions for the last home game too. So it was really funny actually. It was pretty entertaining to watch. I didn't get to watch really like the game because obviously it was the Mavericks, so who really cares that much? They're not in the playoffs, and they're not really they're a lottery team, but they're not one of those, 1, 2, 3, He's replacing Phil Simms, that's what it is. Okay, I got it. Because the internet at my school is just awesome. But, I was talking to one of my friends at school today, and he was like, oh, Andrew. Andrew was thinking, he said something about how I'm not watching football anymore. I refuse to watch, he says he's refusing to watch the Pats games now, because I live in New England, so it's all Pats games for CBS. And he's like, I'm not watching it now. Every single game that's on CBS, I'm not watching the Pats anymore, because I hate Tony. I just can't listen to Tony Romo's voice that much. But I'm still, obviously, he's kidding. I think he's kidding, but it's pretty funny. But yeah, there's a huge question mark above whether or not he's gonna stay retired, or if he's just gonna wait for an opportunity to come play for a team that he actually wants to play for. I think he's pretty. As of like a week ago, I was thinking like he's gonna come back. Like there's a good shot he's coming back. But as the week has gone along, so it's been a good week and a half, 2 weeks since he's retired, since he announced his retirement. I think it's pretty clear that he's not. I don't think he's coming back. At least at this moment, the way he's feeling, I don't think he's coming back. I mean, he's had all of his, Jason Witten had a tribute to him, his longtime tight end who is also coming to the end of his career as well. One of the great tight ends of the game, still playing, but he'll be retiring soon as well. But he's still a really good tight end, so he'll be playing for a while. But yeah, he's been having all the tributes. I mean, obviously it's not too as big because he's not really a Hall of Fame quarterback, but still everybody celebrates his career and celebrates everything he's been through and how committed he was to that team last year, even with losing his spot and getting injured and coming back and still not having the starting role. Because I mean, Prescott was so good. He was just so good, and there was nobody in their right mind who was gonna replace except for Jerry Jones, sorry, who was willing to replace Prescott in that kind of form for injury-ridden Tony Romo, because Jerry Jones had to keep coming out every single week and saying how Romo was the quarterback or still had a chance to be the quarterback for this team during the season too, like during the playoffs. Even during the playoffs, he said it a couple times. But yeah, that's like, if I had to make my prediction, if there was a scenario of him coming back, it'd be for the Dallas Cowboys, obviously. Something weird happens. Prescott's not as good. Prescott has a couple down years, or I don't think he would come back this year. I think he's not coming back this year. I'm going with that. If he comes back, the only situation I see him coming back this year is if Prescott gets hurt, like long term, like a Teddy Bridgewater incident, like where he's just gone for like most of the year, and the Cowboys are in desperate need of a quarterback. Which, I mean, the Cowboys were kind of like that. It wasn't last year, it was 2 years ago when Romo got injured that they were literally just trading. They were looking for every single quarterback. I think that was the year that they settled for Matt Castle or something like that as like their backup quarterback who was actually going to be a starter. And then like Brandon Weeden and stuff like that. But yeah, the only situation I see them coming back is if it's a team, or other than the Dallas Cowboys, it's a team that he really wants to go to and is in a great need of quarterback. And I mean like a team that could win a Super Bowl. Like, maybe not, I don't want to say an injury. I want to say, like, a chance for him. Like, he's not going to come back for a team that's, suffers an injury. Like, if the New England Patriots, I mean, that's a little different scenario because if he comes in, then he would have a good opportunity to win a Super Bowl because, I mean, obviously, he's no Tom Brady, but the Patriots are still a great team. All around team. But yeah, it's, I see Romo going for a team that's in a great need for a quarterback and could contend if they had that quarterback. I'm a little surprised that he didn't at least like try it out with the Texans because it's still close to home and they need him. Like they desperately need a quarterback. So I'm a little surprised he didn't try for that. Okay, next. This is a little older now, but there hasn't been much on it. The whole Richard Sherman situation with him, requesting a trade and being on the trade block. Because he's extremely unhappy with Seattle, apparently. Like, he's just had... And if you remember, he's had fits with the coaching staff and fights with the coaches and Pete Carroll and all of those guys and even some of the other teammates and stuff like that. He's been getting into it. And he's also been on, the spotlight for his role in, not trashing, but criticizing the NFL and Roger Goodell. So he's been on that. So he's been on that kind of spectrum as well, but... And the one main locate and landing spot for him was New England, which had everybody freaking out. It was every single person was just like, "Oh, this is ridiculous. If they get another good player, that's ridiculous." And I mean, I wouldn't mind getting Richard Sherman. It just depends on for what price. Like if we know we're losing Malcolm Butler, like Malcolm Butler's not coming back, then fine by me. Trade him. Trade for Richard Sherman. See if you can. A Richard Sherman from Malcolm Butler trade, or I don't want to give up draft compensation at least because, I mean, we don't have any draft picks really for this year or before the third round or something. I don't know what it is for the Patriots, but Yeah, that'd be interesting. And another member or former member of Seattle Seahawks was Marshawn Lynch, which also had everybody freaking out, but it doesn't make as much sense as Richard Sherman to the Patriots. Uh, Marshawn Lynch has interest in, which means like a couple people reported on him having interest, private interest in the Patriots, which I mean basically everyone in the league does if they want to win a championship. So I mean that doesn't matter as much, private interest. Like everybody's looked at the Patriots like from that standpoint because if you want to win games, then you go to the Patriots. If you want to win a Super Bowl, you go to the Patriots. Like that's just like the one thing that's been, you know, because they have such a weak division like every year usually. Buffalo's struggled. The Jets have struggled recently. Dolphins are kind of on their way up. Which okay, Jarvis Landry, you need to stop. He said something today or yesterday about how, yep, Dolphins are gonna sweep the Patriots in the season series. Dolphins are gonna go 2-0 this year against the Patriots. I don't really know about that. They lost to the Patriots with Jimmy Garoppolo as their quarterback. Actually, not even half Jimmy Garoppolo and half Jacoby Brissett last year. No Tom Brady, and now a arguably better team. Like you have a better team with a better quarterback, with like the best quarterback in the world under center. So I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to think you're gonna take both of those games when we won last year, and now we have with like our third string quarterback playing for half the game. I mean, yes, the Dolphins did make a comeback in that game a little bit, but still, like it was not. I don't. That's just a little ridiculous. But yeah, and then finishing off with the Patriots, I think Marshawn Lynch ends up or going to the Raiders, retiring goes to the Raiders. I think that's just like the most logical thing. I think they'll work it out, especially since now they're in Las Vegas. I mean, come on, time for beast mode to beast it up in Las Vegas. That would be a very interesting thing, especially with players or NFL players getting in trouble now, or receiving fines and getting in trouble if they do like, what was it, arm wrestling? It was like arm wrestling or like that. If you compete professional arm wrestling, you're gonna get in trouble from the NFL. It's like, who makes these rules? Who makes them? Like, I understand like you don't want players like doing stuff to like put their like health in danger and like hurt themselves, but I mean, come on. Like, there's just like I think it's a common sense rule. Like, yeah, let's go play. Let's go do some arm wrestling, professional arm wrestling, cause why not? I mean, we're only making millions of dollars a year, so let's just hurt our chances of playing by and like it's guaranteed contracts too. So like you still have some guaranteed money, and then some of it's not. So I mean, why would you risk it? Like if it was like, uh, if it was like NBA where like the money is guaranteed, or like it's a league where it's a guaranteed money, no matter what. Like there's no unguaranteed and guaranteed money. Then yeah, okay. Like you're not gonna lose any money. It makes a little bit more sense, obviously. But like NFL, just like I don't know, the arm wrestling thing's just dumb. I saw that on Bleacher Reports. Like it's just some of the rules are just like it's so funny to look at. 'Cause it's just like, well, does there really have to be a rule for this? Are players really that? Are players really gonna do that? It's just funny. And okay, we're gonna switch it. And then lastly is LeGarrette Blount looking. I think LeGarrette Blount ends up coming back. I'd be really excited if we got LeGarrette Blount to come back on like a 1 year deal. I mean, maybe not a 1 year deal, but like 2 years, like, cause he's not nowhere near gonna have. I mean, God bless his soul if he does, but he's not gonna have anywhere as near as good of a season as he did last year. With how many touchdowns, leading the league in touchdowns or rushing touchdowns. I mean, the guy was a beast last year, and he was huge for our run game. That has been extremely weak over the last Tom Brady era. Over the last Tom Brady era. Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, so, I don't know. LeGarrette Blount, that'd be awesome to have him back, because that would fill a massive hole, but I definitely think it's something that the Patriots should look at coming up in the draft is getting a running back of some sorts. Making some sort of trade or something like that to get higher in the draft to get a running back, or take one of those running backs that can play, that can fill the Bill Belichick needs. Because we don't really have a power running back. We have a couple of those receiving backs and James White, Deion Lewis, but we don't really have one of those power backs that we usually have that can just gain those extra, 2, 3 yards if you need it. That's what LeGarrette Blount's for, so that'd be huge if we could get him back. But he'd also have to take a little bit of a pay cut to get him back. But then again, it is for the Patriots, and if he really wants to win that bad, then he'll think about it. Alright, so moving on. You might hear me cut out in a second, because I might have to move this a little bit. Or I might have to do this at another time, because my roommate's going to come back, and frankly, he's not one to do this in front of, because he would ask way too many questions of why I'm doing this. But yeah, so yeah, we're going to switch topics, though. So right now, I'm on MLB. I'm going to switch it over to MLB. I told you we're doing three. We're doing 3 sports today. So MLB opening week. I mean, when I planned to do this, it was MLB opening week, but I mean it's MLB opening weeks. So it's 2 weeks since the MLB season started. It's been I don't want to say it's been a really it's kind of been it's kind of uneventful, but also very eventful, because it's just like the teams that you really don't like care about are doing all right, and like the teams that. I mean, last night Cespedes hit 3 home runs. It's like 1,100 something feet or yards or whatever. I don't remember what it is for MLB that they travel distance at, but yeah, he hit 3 home runs. Yeah, like a bunch of teams that you really don't like see doing well do it, but I don't know, like, or that you wouldn't expect doing well have been doing all right. So like Cincy, Arizona, like those teams are doing all right. At the beginning of the year, like they're top in their division, which I mean Cincinnati. Sorry to burst your bubble. One of my friends from home is a Cincinnati Reds fan, and I feel bad for him, but he's gonna be very heavily disappointed in me for saying this, but sorry, Cincy fans. Don't really think your half game lead over the Cubs in the NL Central is gonna stand for much longer. But like looking at the standings, like a bunch of teams, obviously this is not even close to what any of it's gonna look like. I mean, you have biggest like surprises so far. Obviously, is Cincinnati top in their division at 6-2, Arizona topping at 7-2, and then the biggest like surprises obviously are teams that are doing all right. The Angels, the Twins, Tampa's even doing really good. I kind of expected Tampa to do all right though. I wasn't like I don't remember what I did for my MLB predictions. Oh my god, I'm really old. I'm not remembering anything. Oh, this is painful. Yeah, I think I pegged Tampa to be 5th, but I also said they had a chance to get up there if they really wanted to. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they finished in the top 3 or like in the 3rd spot. I'd be surprised if they finished higher than that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they finished like 3rd or 4th. I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm not really that shocked that they're doing all right to begin the season. Biggest disappointments, you have to look in the direction of some AL teams. And when I say AL teams, I mean Toronto. Man, oh man. Are you, excuse my French, but I don't know if that's French. Is shit French? I don't know. But you are a shit in the bed to begin the season. I mean, 1-6? 1-6? Are you kidding? If I was a Toronto fan, I would be beyond furious. I mean, granted they have this series against the Brewers coming up where they have a chance to, win, but I mean, it's also not good because you started out with 2 divisional opponents and you only won 1 game. I mean, you had 2 against Baltimore and you had 4 against Tampa, and you lost 3 of you got swept. You got swept in the 2-game series against Baltimore. Then you lost 3 of 4 against Tampa of all teams, and then you have your home opener on Tuesday, and you lose that. You lose it 3-4. I mean, Toronto. I feel bad because one of my friends that I follow on Snapchat was at the game last night, and he was Snapchatting me. He was like, oh my god, Nate was so funny. He was like, he was watching it because his dad works with like the team, so he was in like one of the suites, and I hated him for it because he was in the suite, and I was like, oh, Nate, that's such good seats. And he was like, I don't care, they suck, and he's a Toronto fan because he lives in Canada, but I feel so bad for him because he's just like, why? This is awful. Why are you jealous? They suck. They're playing the Brewers and they're losing it. Especially the Brewers. I mean, if you're playing anybody with the Brewers, I mean, that's just awful. But yeah, okay, I'm done with Toronto. I could sit here and trash Toronto for such a long time if I wanted to. Not really disappointing. I have another friend who's a Cleveland Indians fan. He's been a little, he hasn't been disappointed. He was really happy. The funny thing with this kid is that my friend was going up with, he grew out like a, I don't know how to describe it. He grew out like a stash in his facial hair. Like a oh my god, Civil War, like, general. Like, he went all out with it. And he looked like one. Like, he played the part, too. It was really funny. And he said he wasn't shaving it until the Indians lost. And I said, the second the Indians lost, because the Indians won like 3 in a row to begin the season. Second the Indians lost like that game, I sent him a text saying like, Indians are going 3-159. You guys saw. And then the Indians lost 3 in a row after that, and he was like, you jinxed it. What's wrong with you? You're killing me. I was like, you gotta shave it. You shouldn't have shaved it. You only lost 1 game. You shouldn't have shaved it. No, okay, but all right, moving on. Other disappointments. I keep getting sidetracked. It's so weird. Other disappointments. I'm really disappointed in Seattle. Like 2-7. You got a good pitch. You got an alright pitching staff. You got a really nice lineup. I mean, the fact of the matter is that you just gotta perform. Like they have a difficult. They didn't have like the easiest of schedules, but I mean, you shouldn't be going this bad into the beginning of the season. Because I know that, they played Houston in the first series, and they won, and they only won one of the first games, and they only won that first game. They've only won that first game 4-2, and granted, they should have won one of the games. I should have. George Springer carried the Astros to one of those victories, but you win 1 of 4 against Houston in the first series, then you get swept by the Angels, which is ridiculous, in the second series. Now they're playing against the Astros again at home. It's just, I'm just a little disappointed. I've been rooting for the Mariners to get back in the playoffs for a while now, and they're just disappointing again. Yeah, really, not many disappointing teams in the West, or in the NL. West NL, I'm thinking NBA right now. In the NL, the big disappointment in the NL is San Francisco so far, but they're only 3-6. And granted, I'm doing this in the first 2 weeks of the season. Like, this is all gonna change. We are gonna see it. I can put money on the fact that we're gonna see Cincinnati in the bottom part of the NL Central within the next 2 months, or in the next month. We're gonna see it. Yeah. But yeah, still, San Francisco's going 3-6. They gotta play better. With that bullpen, I was really expecting them to. I was really expecting them to work it out and be able to play, but they're just really struggling right now. I don't know what's going on with them. They've had some pretty easy opponents to begin the season. They had Arizona. They've had Arizona twice now in two series. And then they had San Diego, which, granted, they shouldn't have. It was the Padres. They were playing in San Diego, but still, they lost 2 really close games to San Diego at home. San Francisco's on the road, but you know what I mean. Lost 6-7 in the home opener for the Padres, then lost 1-2 the next day. They just gotta learn, and then they lost. Yeah, they just gotta learn how to win close games. Cause look at all their losses. First game 5-6 loss, 6-8 loss, 6-7 1-2, 3-4 loss. Like those are all their losses basically. Their only big loss was 3-9 against the Diamondbacks. That's about it. So I think they just gotta figure out how to push those important runs across so they can win those close games. Oh, excuse me. Hold on. All right, I'm back. I had to pause the recording because I'm literally could not even speak because my throat was dry. Oh my god, that was really bad. But yeah, I'm basically done with the Giants. The Giants are disappointments. I mean, surprises, disappointments. It's kind of all the same. Big storylines, I guess, really were. I mean, two of the big storylines come from the Red Sox. It's a matter of the fact that, I mean, if you're sitting here wondering, was it really smart for the Red Sox to move Moncada and Moncada and a couple other prospects for sale? Then you better be saying yes, it very much was, because oh my god, the man dominated both of his games. I don't mean dominated the second game. He didn't really dominate the second game, but he was locked in. Like it was unhittable. And I got to go to the game, his first start. So I went to his first start, and it was actually ridiculous as to how good he was. I'll add a picture. I'll throw in a picture of my seats at this point. Like I'm just gonna throw you where I was sitting, but because I had really good seats for this game. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I had really good seats, but I'll just flash it up there for a couple minutes, or for like a minute. But yeah, he was so dominant in that first start. His first start was, I think he went 7 with 7 Ks and like 3 hits. That was a ridiculous game. That was awesome. I mean, the Red Sox didn't get any offense, which is quite the pattern for the start of this season. Yeah, they're really struggling on offense, which is the other storyline coming from them. But hold on. All right, I'm back. I had to get a drink anyway. I'm literally dying right now. But yeah, and my roommate came back, so I had to move. I had to relocate, but I'm good. So yeah, Red Sox offense really struggling. Not really working out for them. Not, expectations were so high for their offense. Like, a lot of people are struggling, a lot of people aren't. Like, on their team, I mean, Pedroia, Sandy Leon, Mitch Moreland's actually doing really well after struggling to begin the season, but they're starting to get a lot of players back as well, so it's going to work out for them. It's looking like it's going to start turning around for them. Their offense slowly getting back to where it's expected. I mean, they haven't had any explosions so far on offense, but still, it looks like it's coming around. Some players are coming back from injury, and Betts, Bogarts is coming off the bereavement list. Bradley Jr. went on the disabled list, but he'll be back soon, hopefully. But yeah, their offense has been really struggling. It's just something that's got to be fixed eventually, but I still have high hopes for them. I still stand pat with my expectations. Obviously, I'm not going to change them after 2 weeks of MLB season. It'd be a little dumb for me to come back and just say, oh, I'm gonna switch my predictions just based off of what I've seen from the last 2 weeks and where the standings are for this week. So, or standing right now. So I'm not gonna change anything unless I have to, unless I see something extremely positive out of the team. Like, I still stand pat with the AL East, Tampa, even with Toronto struggling, I still think they're going to put it all together. They're still a really good team. They're still going to put it together and, finish in that second spot, I believe. Like, a lot of teams that are struggling, I think that'll make it. But it's alright. We'll figure it out. Yeah. But moving on, that's basically it on the MLB. MLB is just starting. I'll talk a little bit more, because MLB will be the only, over the summer, I probably won't do too many episodes over the summer because there's not too much going on over the summer. When it comes to sports, it's mostly just baseball, so I might keep the episodes to like one every once in a while, and free agency stuff. I'll do free agency stuff as well for NBA, and But there isn't really that much going on for the summer, so I'll think of it. But moving on, speaking of NBA, free agency, NBA in general. I mean, obviously next episode on Friday. And when I do this on Friday, it's gonna be a soul like it's gonna be a big like NBA playoff predictions, playoff matchups, and what to look for. And then I'm gonna do the awards as well. So I'm gonna do the major awards. I'm not gonna do like all NBA teams, rookie teams, and you know uh defensive teams. I'm not gonna do that, but I'll do like the awards and stuff like that, predictions, and where I think it's gonna be sitting. But I mean, to talk about it first, I think, I mean, I might be a little biased, but it looks like the MVP race is becoming a little more clear, in the sense that, I mean, Westbrook secured his record-breaking 42nd triple-double on Sunday. Yeah, on Sunday he secured it, and then he had his 42nd triple-double, 50-point game-winning three, knocked the Nuggets out of the playoffs. I mean, it was a meaningless game because, the Thunder are stuck in that sixth spot no matter what they do at that point. So they know they're going up against Houston in the first round. So it'll be interesting to see, but still was an MVP performance. But yeah, if you see like a lot of people talking on NBA pundits and analysts have said that kind of, I mean, the fact that he broke the record in the first place kind of not secured it, but a lot of people have been leaning more toward the Westbrook train, or more toward Westbrook in the last few weeks. So yeah, I think it looks like it's becoming ever more clear, especially now with the record secured and the Thunder securely in the playoffs and actually looking to make noise in the playoffs. I think is looking more and more clear that Westbrook's going to be the one to run away, or has run away with this MVP. I mean, he hasn't run away because Harden still has quite the huge case for it. But I think a lot of the MVP, I mean, I'll get in more into it next episode, but when it's just like a purely NBA one, but yeah, but I don't know, like it just looks like people are saying that like Harden has these stats, like I mean, you see it for both of them, with both of them, people who are arguing both ways. Harden is put in a system where he is going to be stuffing the stat sheet, I guess, and he's put in a system by Mike D'Antoni to succeed and have those stats. And then Westbrook, everybody's complaining about Westbrook because on free throws and stuff like that, his teammates are kind of letting him get rebounds. It's like, that's not, first of all, if anybody, it's kind of ridiculous that people say this, but people who say like, oh, Westbrook's teammates kind of sometimes let him get rebounds, it's like, no, it's a little ridiculous. But like, I see people talking about how he's like not like one of the best rebounding guards in the league, like just because like sometimes his teammates like let him, kind of like let him get it, because you don't want to have two guys fighting for the ball. I mean, he's in front of you and he's jumping for the ball. What are you gonna just snatch it in front of him so he doesn't? So then maybe it deflects off of your hands and then goes out of bounds and it's their ball. No, I mean, obviously there's sometimes with you see like Steven Adams like pull his hands back, like, I'm not grabbing it. Westbrook's, that's his. I'm not like grabbing it. I mean, yeah, that's sometimes like that, but I don't know. It's just an argument that makes me a little upset. Not upset, but just like, as an OKC fan, it's like that's a little. It's like it's both ways with both of those arguments. With Harden being in a system to succeed like that, it's kind of disrespecting both of them and the seasons that they've had. Like, just going out there and saying like, oh, they're both like they've both had one of the great 2 seasons in like the league history. So saying that like he doesn't, or that Westbrook and Harden are like set up to succeed, it's kind of disrespecting the fact that they've put up some ridiculous numbers like during this whole season. Like, they've consistently put up a ridiculous numbers. Like, it was disappointing when Westbrook didn't even get a triple double. Like, it's a disappointing game when he doesn't get a triple double. Like, that's kind of how like it went through the season. Like if you didn't get triple double, you kind of, even if your team lost against OKC, you kind of gave yourselves a pat in the back. You didn't give up a triple double to Russell Westbrook. I mean, literally half of the time, you give up a triple double to Russell Westbrook because he's 42. Well, actually, more than half the time. It's just, I don't know. That's kind of like an argument that, you know, as an OKC fan, it kind of gets you a little upset. And the same thing for a Houston fan. I don't know. It's just doesn't make that much sense. But yeah, okay. Moving on from that. Last topic is the playoff standings. It looks like if everything goes to plan, it's not gonna change really. Nothing's really gonna change. Uh, we got Boston. Looks like they're gonna secure the first seed, which wouldn't have put my money on that. But if you told me that a week ago, I wouldn't have put my money on it. It looks like I don't know how this works, but the Cavs are playing the Toronto Raptors, and I know that they're playing. I know that the Toronto Raptors are one game back. I don't think. I really don't. I think the Cavs own the tiebreaker over the Raptors, but so I don't think it matters if they win or lose tonight. They'll still have second seed. I didn't know if they could get the third seed or not. That'd be funny. That'd be hilarious if the Cavs dropped the third seed, but I don't think it's possible. But yeah, Cleveland has the tiebreaker over Boston because they just absolutely murdered Boston, a couple weeks ago. Actually, the same night that I went to the Red Sox game, so literally 2 weeks ago on that Wednesday, they destroyed them. Which at that point I was like, okay, the Cavs are gonna run away with this. Like, there's no way that the Celtics are gonna be able to keep this up, and they're gonna, you know, come out of that Eastern Conference as a one seed after they just took that shellacking from the Cavs. But they held it together. I was a little surprised. They held their own, and they stuck together through it. And now it looks like Boston's gonna finish with that one seed, and it's a little surprising, honestly. But yeah, the rest of the playoffs is kind of set. It's kind of set. So the Eastern Conference is a little shaky at the bottom. Obviously, like the 5 through 9 area is up for grabs. Miami and Chicago. Miami and Chicago are both fighting for that last spot. I think Indiana's not safe. If Indiana loses and Chicago and Miami win tonight, then Indiana's out. But it looks like Indiana's going to secure it. All they need is Chicago or Miami to lose, and Miami's playing. Survived what's it called? Miami survived the Cavs, which was it was LeBron, Kyrie, it was LeBron. I don't remember if it was all of them, but they had a bunch of players resting, like always. Which you don't want to get me on that topic yet. Not a chance. But yeah, Miami has Washington, which is going to be a tough game for them to win, especially with Washington wanting to grab that 3 seed from Toronto. I'm actually a little excited. I hope Toronto wins tonight, so then they secure it, and I hope Milwaukee stays in that 6 seed because I really want to see a Toronto-Milwaukee series. But it looks like Miami might be the team that's missing out. They really have. Miami has such a difficult game against. Has a difficult game against the Wizards. The Hawks basically have it secured, so Indiana has a game against the Hawks. I think Indiana will end up winning that game, so it just looks like Miami's going to be the team that's missing out. And then the Western Conference is literally set. Like, it's just all set, except for the 4 or 5 seeds. Like, and that doesn't matter. It just matters who gets home and who gets away. So, yeah, it's looking like this for the West. It's Golden State and Portland, which sweep. Which 25 games separating the two, so I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Damian Lillard's got to put up that 50-pointer and hope to God that his teammates can put up another 50 as well. Plus 50 plus as well each game. But no. If Portland can win one game, I'm pretty sure that's a success because Portland has been really disappointing this year. Like, barely even making the playoffs is a little disappointing for them. Memphis and San Antonio. San Antonio should sweep that series as well. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm doing this next episode. I'm just putting in. This is like filler time. I don't know why. This is 40 minutes long. I don't know why I'm trying to fill right now. But yeah, outside of that, it's really there's not much else to talk about. I mean, other than the fact the Western Conference. I mean, Celtics have secured the Nets pick for this season as being the top one going into the lottery draft. So it looks like they're gonna have that 25% chance of getting that number one pick, which will also be very interesting to see at the end of the season. Whether to say they trade it, I mean that's granted if they get the first pick too. No one's gonna trade for that pick until you see where it is. Like you don't like Danny Ainge is smarter than that. He knows that there's a good chance that his pick is gonna be the first or second. And those first two picks, I mean, if you get one or two, the first or second pick, you're gonna have a good trade, and then you're gonna be able to get a good trade for it. Especially, I mean, obviously the first pick, you get the first pick, and you get to pick whoever the hell you want. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a fun off season to do for this year because there's a lot of decent free agents that are looking to go out. That might be looking to go elsewhere. I'm not sure though. It's going to be very interesting to see with how everything goes in the offseason and the playoffs. I was really hoping to see an OKC Golden State series, but looks like unless OKC can make those conference finals, they'd have to go through Houston and probably San Antonio. So cross your fingers, boys. We're going to need something. We're going to need a lot more miracles than we were given this year. But yeah, that's going to do it. Okay. 41 minutes in. I'm back in my room, by the way, if you didn't know this, because I literally watched my roommate walk in, put all the stuff down, and then left. So yeah, I don't know what he was doing. He literally put all the stuff down, went to the bathroom, like, took it out as if he was gonna, I'm not gonna, like, get too much into this, but he put his stuff down as if he was gonna stay, and then went to the bathroom, came back, took all of his stuff, put it back in his bag, and then left. So I mean, that's why I left. I left because I saw him put all his stuff down, because I was like, okay, I gotta leave. Like, if I'm gonna finish this, then I gotta leave. But, note to anybody who's going to college. Please, find a roommate who, like, isn't in the room 24/7. That is 100% the reason why I have not been able to record these videos. It's because there's always one of them in here. If you have two roommates, good luck. God bless your soul. Good luck. I'm done. Thank you guys for listening. God bless America. I'm but yeah, okay, I'm gonna be done now. I think I'm getting to that point where I think I'm done. Alright, I'm gonna call it quits. Thank you guys for listening if you stayed to this point. I'll be back on Friday with the NBA playoffs and awards predictions and stuff like that. And I will talk to you all later. Peace.